The police have now enforced a hard cordon, I would say about a mile from where the attack took place. This was a very fluid situation in the past hour or so. It now appears to have settled down somewhat. If you look over my shoulder here, we might be able to give you a picture here of two armed police officers standing on the corner. These are not just officers with weapons. These are officers wearing bulletproof helmets, balaclavas, short automatic weapons, if you will. These look like tactical special operations police officers here standing on the corner. From the way that they're standing at the moment, they really seem to be in a position of sort of enforcing a perimeter. Earlier on, officers dressed and armed just like these were literally tearing through the streets. We saw one man who was arrested and led away. As the situation has slowed down and become a little less chaotic, we've seen other officers searching young men, patting them down, frisking them before setting them on their way. But at the moment, the area behind me, that main thoroughfare behind me, that's just over my shoulder where those two armed officers are, the direction of Borough Market would be down there. There are, out of sight here, a lot of police vehicles being staged. It's very hard to estimate the number of police officers in the area. We've seen the occasional ambulance, but this is now a very, very heavily policed area. It's not clear to us from where we stand what operations may be continuing at the centre, around the Borough Market and around the London Bridge area. But this, if you will, at the moment, is now becoming, at the perimeter at least, a static, stable situation. But the way it was evolving earlier, it was very dynamic. But for now, it seems to be static here, John.
And Nick, let's just make one thing clear, and I think we can tell by the level of activity that is going on behind you. We have no word of any suspects in custody. We have no word that either dead or alive that they have caught up to anyone who may have been behind this pair of attacks.
When we saw the officers rushing through the street, clad in riot gear, running in one direction, armed officers running in the opposite direction, when the police were running us off the street, they were running us themselves at full speed away. It gave the impression that there was an immediate danger behind them. My instinct was to guess that they potentially discovered a bomb. The situation has settled down. There's absolutely no indication that is the situation at the moment. But no, you're right. We don't have a sense of what's happening. We don't have a sense if there are people still holding out, still taking cover and sheltering in place. We do know, however, that the police have tweeted in the very recent past here. They have tweeted to tell people to shelter, to barricade themselves in if they are stuck, to stay low, to turn the sound off on their phones, to turn the vibration mode off on their phones, to give no indication of the locations they're held in. So at the moment, from what we can surmise, the number of armed officers that are on the scene here, the activity, the number of police vehicles that are parked just on the road behind me out of sight there, it gives the indication this area is absolutely flooded, saturated with police officers, which gives the impression there is a very serious ongoing operation that may, and I have to stress that because we don't have those details, may involve the search for individuals who may still be feared to be armed, dangerous, and on the loose, John.
There's every reason to believe a manhunt is going on right now as we speak. Behind you, Nick Robertson in London, near the scene of where these incidents, this pair of incidents took place. And if you've been watching for the last hour, listening to Ana Cabrera, there was fear of a third incident in the Vauxhall neighborhood for some time. The Metropolitan Police in London are now making clear they do not believe that was connected to these other two incidents. They believe that was a stabbing. They are not calling that a terror incident, but now they are specifically and clearly calling the two incidents, the one on London Bridge and the one in the Borough Market, they are calling them terror incidents. Let's bring in CNN national security analyst Peter Bergen. He joins us now. Peter, again, what is unique about this situation right now is there does appear to be an ongoing police operation for whoever might be behind what they are now treating as terror attacks.
Yes, and of course, ISIS called for attacks during Ramadan in the West this year. They've done that in the past couple of years, and unfortunately, people have responded to those attacks. You remember, of course, John will recall the attack in Florida, Omar Mateen, who killed 49 people at a gay nightclub in Orlando. He did that in the time frame of Ramadan the previous year. Here you have what appears to be certainly a terrorist incident. Is it an Al-Qaeda inspired directed incident? Is it an ISIS inspired directed incident? We don't know yet. But most of these incidents, whether they be directed or inspired, have been ISIS. We've seen occasionally Al-Qaeda in Yemen, directing attacks or attempted attacks in the West, but typically these have been ISIS. But John, I would say one thing that's I think important here is the political context. I mean, Theresa May, the Prime Minister, faces a general election on June 8th. Her lead has very much narrowed with the Labour Party, which is the main kind of challenger to her. When you see what is happening in the UK over the last several months, you're seeing what looks like a campaign. We always talk about the British having a stiff upper lip and, reacting to these things in a very kind of measured way, and I think that's partly true. But when you have attack on Westminster Bridge, which kills 5 people, when you have the attack in Manchester with a sort of, very large death toll, when you have these attacks, and we don't know what the death toll is, but it can't be, it could be, fairly significant. It looks like a campaign, and the question will be, does that help Theresa May? She was, after all, the Home Secretary, which is the most important law enforcement officer in the United Kingdom, and there's a rally around the flag effect, or does it hurt her? Because after all, in the incident in Manchester, the perpetrator of that attack, the terrorist in that attack, was known to UK law enforcement authorities. We don't know who's behind these attacks, but if it turns out that they were kind of on the radar screen, as is often the case for law enforcement, will that produce some kind of backlash, which is to say, why isn't this government protecting us enough? Which would be a very natural reaction. Another natural reaction is to say, well, there's a rally around the flag effect, and we're gonna throw our weight behind the Prime Minister right now. But I think from a political point of view, I think this is a very dangerous moment for Theresa May.
I want to bring in right now, joining us on the phone, CNN senior national security analyst Lisa Monaco. She served as assistant to President Obama for Homeland Security and Counterterrorism. So I'm wondering, now that we're learning this is being considered a terror attack, and there's 2 separate ongoing incidents right now, Lisa Monaco, according to the officials there on the scene in London. What's going on among these different agencies in terms of coordinating how they're responding to this incident?
Well, Anna, what's happening, I suspect, in the UK right now is, as you're seeing and as your correspondent on the scene has made clear, the first job is going to be of the first responders and the immediate response authorities to understand what the situation is on the ground. They're trying